It's our final official presentation. Cami and her birth father, and I'm going to read the official thing. And Cami is going to tell you a lot about their story. So, she's a singer-songwriter. Her name is Jenni Alpert, but otherwise known by her birth name as Cami, and her birth father, Don. They're going to share their story, a song about reunion and their personal transformation through the journey of their reunion. In a world where homelessness is more prevalent today than ever, one biological reunion tackles the impossible. Years after being taken away from her parents as a baby by the state and then given up for adoption at age 4, singer-songwriter Jenni Alpert, Cami, went searching for her birth father. 3 years ago, she found him, homeless, some addictions, right, on the run from the law, yet here he was, a musician. Since then, they've joined forces and together embarked on a journey of profound transformation. Cami pioneered a path to her birth father's release from the legal system, ending a cycle of homelessness and street crime. She accomplished this through unconditional love and unique solution solving, and along the way, inspiring others experience homelessness and those in search of inspiration through story and song. This dynamic duo represents the ultimate tale of reunion and creating togetherness through adversity. They're here with us tonight to share their story and song about reunion, transformation, and journey. Please enjoy Cami and Don.
Thank you so much for that beautiful introduction and for tolerating quirkiness. Thank you. So this is my birth father, Don. Actually, just like a half an hour ago, somebody mentioned the term natural, which I had never thought of, and I love that too. So we can take a vote, we can say all of it. But I want to start by kind of focusing on that in terms for a minute, because I really feel like each individual person has their own story and their own journey, and they're very worthy of honoring all of those things. And what I have come to discover in having both a birth name and an adopted name, where the Jennifer came in actually from foster homes, the Alpert came from being adopted into a completely new family, and the Cameron came from my birth mother, later shortened to Cami when I found Don to introduce myself to him so he would recognize who I was before he would recognize who I was. So I really feel like names are so interesting because really they're a reflection of what other people feel and think and see themselves to be as they hear these names. Because my mom, who's Jill, my adoptive mother, my mom will never ever call me Cami ever, and she cringes and she just wants me to be Jennifer, which is funny because she didn't even name me that. Actually, she really wanted to name me Heidi, but by the time I ended up in her house, it was too late. I was 4, already in several foster homes by then, and it was too late, so Heidi never happened, but I was Jennifer, and she was so always very preparing me for life and always saying Jennifer, Jennifer, and so I shortened it to Jenny so that every time she was upset, I could shorten it, and eventually I shortened it to Jen to keep shortening it. And then there's a Cindy here, and I wanted to throw out how I didn't know that my birth name was Cameron for a while, but I had a weird feeling about it. So weird that when I went away to sleepaway summer camp, I changed my name to Cindy randomly, this other C name, and I was Cindy for one summer. And then the girls were like, we know that's not your name, so we'll call you CJ. So I was CJ for a very long time before I even knew that there was a C for Cameron. And then the story unfolded. So I think names are really amazing for how we want to identify ourselves and how we identify ourselves to other people. And I think labels suck, so I feel like we can define however it is that we want to. And I think the term birth father is really amazing because Don invented me. I mean, he literally created me. And if it weren't for him, I wouldn't be here on this planet. And so to me, that birth part, he like helped me come to this world. And so that's why I love calling him my birth father. And for my father who raised me from when I was 4, before he passed away of cancer, so sad, his name was Bill, and he has that term father, and he raised me, and I still think of him every day, and he kind of gets that term. And then my mom, Jill, gets that term. And then my birth mother, or natural mother, I never met her because she passed away before I had a chance to, but her story really lends itself to how our story exists, because if it weren't for her, well, Don and I would never have what we have now. So in a lot of ways, Mary Lou is here. And I just want to preface that before I keep talking your ear off for 1,000 more years. So that's that. And then Don will get to talk, because right now he's like, shut up. But inside, I know he's already saying that. So this is amazing. So I also want to say, this is our first time being able to be in a room with so many stories. Specifically about birth mothers, birth fathers, adoption, possibly foster care, all in one room. We've had the honor and pleasure to speak with foster children and work with them. Don came with me, and we helped foster children who are still currently in the foster system write a song and record it. And Don was so awesome the first year that we were together to come and do that with me. And so we've been able to speak with foster children and adults emancipated. Then later we met Jeanette, who most of you have met, and we had this awesome opportunity to spend so much time with adoptees and go to all these different groups and circles and perform for her Celia Center event last year. And so the whole adoptee thing was just a very cool circle. And because of Don's amazing, interesting path and life choice that he'll tell you about, we spent a lot of time with homelessness and the homelessness community in different demographics, those choosing homelessness, those where homelessness chose them. And we've had lots of time speaking in different groups for that. But this is our first time getting to be with you in a special, intimate, very special situation. So I wanted to address that and say that we arrived this afternoon because there was a lot of work that was going on far away. And I want you to know that though we weren't here in the groups, I have been thinking about you. And though I don't know yet your stories and your names, and will forget your faces because facial recognition is just not part of my chemical makeup, I have thought a lot about the birth mother and the birth father, and reunions and adoptees, and the challenges and the emotional strife and the intimacy that we need and the love that would be wonderful to have. And I'm so proud to have Don here because he is a voice and a perspective that is so unique. He'll tell you, it's just jaw-dropping to me. And I just want to say thank you for welcoming us and letting us be a part of your weekend. And this is Don. Here, you take it.
Hello, how are y'all doing this evening?
Good.
My name's Don. Well, way back in the day, I was running around with a young lady, and she got pregnant at the same time. I got in a bunch of trouble with the law, and so when the baby was born, I was in jail, and then 4 years later, she was adopted, and meanwhile, I was still in jail, and this would carry on. And I'd get out once in a while, and I'd go back, and this would go back and forth until the year 2016, and then finally, I met her. And by the way, from the beginning until 2016, I never met her at all. I didn't raise her at all. I didn't have a chance. And but when I met her, I right away realized, wow, she's got a lot of things in her that I have in me, well, of course she does. This is my daughter. You know, I had to split the 23 chromosomes of the DNA molecule with Mary Lou. And of course, I acknowledged that she was raised actually by a family otherwise than me and Mary Lou. But I'll tell you what, I kind of knew that because of the fact of how much trouble I was in, that I wasn't going to really be there. I'll put it to you this way. I don't think that I could have raised her up as good as Bill Alpert and Mrs. and Jill Alpert did. I don't think I quite would have been able to do that. So I have no regrets that she was raised by a family other than Mary Lou and myself. And I'm actually couldn't be more grateful, to be honest with you. Now, meanwhile, when I met her, I realized that, you know, she's got a lot of music embedded in her, and I could straight out, you know, relate to it. So, and I told her, I says, yeah, all that's cool, but I've still got a problem with probation. I'm on the run. And so she says, all right, go to jail and clean it up, and when you get out, I'll help you get off of probation. So I did so. And I did 100 days for Judge Kennedy in the county jail, and then got out, and she was across the street, and from then on, 4 years now. Yeah. I'll tell them more in a little while.
Okay, sounds good. I'll take it.
I love it.
That's one thing I wish I had. Why didn't you give me the ability to be shorter in my speeches? I would have loved to have inherited that. Oh.
Gotcha.
Yeah. All right.
This song.
Okay. Now I did have that pick. I don't know where I put it. Guess I don't really need it.
Yeah, use your pick. If you don't have one, I'll give you one.
Okay, I don't know where it went.
Well, here it then.
I loved that pick. Darn. We're like we never did comedy really.
Here.
I think you're working on it.
You have? Okay. All right.
The next plateau.
The next plateau. Isn't that strange? That whole pick, it was so great. Okay.
Sitting on it.
Yeah. Maybe I am. Could I be? You saw it?
No, I'm just
Oh, I was like, that's for real. No, they have this thing where you can like put the pick. Gotta get that next. Okay. So let's start with this one. Let's do Up in the Air.
All right.
Okay. Well, I'm right where I belong, playing guitar and singing songs. This road is all I know. Writing prose, well, who knows? But people think that I just don't care. They don't know what's going on in here. Head full of dreams that could go anywhere. Guess you could say I'm up in the air. Folks, they pass on by, straight ahead and keeping time, while this road is all I know. Singing songs, singing rhymes. People think that I just don't care. They don't know what's going on in here. Head full of dreams that could go anywhere. Guess you could say I'm up in the air. Up in the air, where feet don't need no shoes. Up in the air, where the sky's bright blue. Up in the air, there's nothing to lose. They don't know, but I do. People think that I just don't care. They don't know what's going on in here. Oh, head full of dreams that could go anywhere. Guess you could say I'm up in the air. bit. Ain't bad for a little Jew. No, it's true. My maternal side, they were like super Jewish. And then Dawn's side, they've been like robbing England since who knows when. Okay, let's see. You ready? Let's do the other one. So, you say you love me when you come around. My heart beats easy. Listen to it now. The way you hold me like nothing will hold me down. You wrap a world around me. Is this love I finally found? All my life I felt hands upon my skin, yet I knew I shouldn't let them in. Now with you, my running days are through, less than forever, just when new. Oh, you're so adoring, there ain't nothing you wouldn't be for me. You keep on giving, so now I finally see. All my life I felt hands on my skin, yet I knew I shouldn't let them in. Now with you, my running days are through, less than forever, just what I do. Oh, I know it's hard to know for sure, but when I'm with you, I just want you more. 'Cause all my life I felt hands upon my skin, yet I knew I shouldn't let them in. Now with you, my running days are through, less than forever, just wouldn't do. Less than forever, just wouldn't do. You can have your pick back. So now you're gonna see, oh, there it is. My pick is in this guitar. Okay, all right. There you go. So now you're gonna see where I get it from. It's pretty amazing too, because I didn't know that Don was still living, and I didn't know that he played music. I had a feeling, like, I was terrible with lessons and remembering things and listening. It was just a whole big bad thing. But for some reason, every once in a while, like, music would just come through and I'd remember something. Oh, I muted it. Did you want it loud now?
Let's see what it is.
Oh.
That's good enough.
Oh, okay, that's good. All right, cool. So, anywho, yeah, so when I had a private investigator help me locate where Don was getting his mail when he wasn't in and out of how many prisons?
Probably about 10 different prisons.
Yeah, they knew him. He was pretty famous, infamous, famous, whatever. He was one of the only dudes who could play with really anyone, because there is a bit of segregation.
Now, by the way, the reason why I was homeless most of the time was actually on purpose. Since I would get out of one prison or another on probation, I didn't have much of a choice, so I got good at it. And being good at it, I didn't even really mind it so much.
There you go.
When they're telling that when you was mentioning about the homeless part.
Yeah.
I was homeless all right, but I was perfectly happy being homeless. I didn't really have any problem with that.
And tell them how, this is interesting, you tell them real quick how you did it, because it was very different. You can just grab this.
And what state was it?
Here. Oh yes, that's true.
sometimes in Nevada, but most of it was in California. I would get out of one jail or another on probation, which didn't agree with me at all, and so I would abscond right away and go to the welfare office and get a free GR check. You can only do that a couple of times, and so I'd get one. Then from there, I would go to the gambling casinos and play poker, and I'm pretty, really pretty good at it. I learned it in prison. You know, I was a poker player, so I would win a bunch of money in those places and be able to sustain myself until finally, after about a month or two of that, you're going to finally get caught for one thing or another. It's automatic. And then once you do get caught, then you got to go back and it just starts all over again. And in 2016, I finally met my daughter and decided to call it quits with all that and just turned it over to her. And she got me off of probation. I think it took her, what, about a year and a half to do that, or a year or something like that?
You really did. You chose
Well,
to do it. You did it. I just drove you there.
You did it.
Okay, got you on that. All right, yeah, and ever since then, you're right. We've been a happy couple and taking care of business the best that we can.
All right.
We should,